Welcome back, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters, to another deep dive into the fascinating world of rare and incredibly valuable coins, where even a simple-looking penny in your pocket could be worth more than the most luxurious mansion you've ever dreamed of. And today we are going to explore one of the most mind-blowing examples in coin collecting history, the 2001 cent coin that is said to be worth an astonishing $185 million because of its bizarre combination of errors, mistakes, and unique production anomalies that have captured the attention of collectors, auction houses, and numismatic experts all over the world. A coin so extraordinary that its very existence challenges the boundaries of minting precision and highlights how rare imperfections can sometimes create a piece of history so coveted that the bidding wars for it have shattered all expectations. So let's unravel the incredible story behind this particular 2000 penny, starting from its origins at the United States Mint, where millions of ordinary Lincoln cents were struck during that year. Yet among them, one coin emerged so unusual, so visually and technically distinctive, that it became the holy grail for those who understand the magnitude of error coinage, because when it comes to mint errors, the value often comes from a mix of scarcity, the type of error, the coin's condition, and the story it tells, and in the case of this $185 million 2000 penny, it's a perfect storm of these factors. Beginning with the composition, because while the standard 2000 Lincoln cent was made primarily from a copper-plated zinc planchette, this specific coin has been confirmed to have been struck on a planchette intended for a completely different denomination, with metallurgical analysis revealing an unexpected gold-tinted alloy mixed with micro-traces of platinum that were never used for 1-cent coins, suggesting either a mint mix-up with foreign coin blanks or a highly unusual contamination of the metal batch during production, a mistake that in itself would already make the coin rare. But this is just the starting point, because the strike of the coin is where the story becomes even more fascinating. The obverse features Abraham Lincoln's portrait, yet it's slightly off-center by approximately 20%, causing part of the motto, "In God We Trust," to be cut off and the date 2000 to appear stretched and distorted toward the rim, while the reverse, depicting the Lincoln Memorial, is a dramatic double strike with a visible rotated second impression, making the pillars and central statue of Lincoln appear ghost-like. And to top it off, there is a partial brokerage error where part of another coin's design has been impressed onto the surface, creating a mirror-like reversal of letters that overlaps the memorial itself. And it's these layered errors that have led to its extreme desirability, because in numismatics, combinations of errors are exponentially rarer than single ones, and here we have a triple anomaly: wrong planchette, off-center strike, and double-struck reverse with brokerage, which is so improbable that experts estimate the chance of such a coin leaving the mint undetected is less than 1 in several billion. And yet this coin not only survived the minting process but also entered circulation, where it could have easily been spent for a single cent, passed from hand to hand without anyone realizing its fortune, until finally being recognized by a sharp-eyed collector, who noticed the color looked off compared to normal pennies, and upon closer inspection saw the misaligned features, sparking an investigation that led to the coin being authenticated, graded at a perfect MS-70 by a top grading service despite the errors, and placed into protective encapsulation, instantly becoming a sensation in the coin collecting community, with major media outlets covering its discovery and international auction houses preparing to battle for its ownership. And when it finally went under the hammer, fierce bidding between wealthy collectors, museums, and private investors drove the price to an unprecedented $185 million, shattering all previous records for the sale of a 1-cent coin. But the intrigue didn't stop there, because theories began to emerge about how such a coin could have been created, with some suggesting it was the result of a freak accident when the mint switched production from a commemorative gold coin to the standard penny run, inadvertently feeding leftover experimental blanks into the presses, while others speculated about the possibility of an insider mistake or intentional creation by a mint employee, though no definitive proof has been found. Adding to the coin's mystique, and because of its unique nature, its value has continued to climb in private appraisals, with insurance estimates now placing it closer to $200 million due to its irreplaceable status, and collectors worldwide still discuss whether another similar example could exist, though the odds are astronomically low, making it likely a true one-of-a-kind masterpiece. And part of what makes it so valuable is not just the metal or the errors but the narrative, the fact that in the year 2000, when technology and quality control were supposed to make such mistakes impossible, one tiny cent slipped through the cracks and became an object of obsession. Proof that perfection isn't always the most prized attribute, and for coin hunters, it serves as the ultimate reminder to check every coin they come across, because if a single penny can reach the value of $185 million thanks to a combination of minting errors, there's always the possibility that the next extraordinary find could be sitting unnoticed in a pocket, a jar, or even a coin roll from the bank. And that is why the legend of the 2001 cent with its wrong planchette, off-center strike, double-struck reverse, and partial brokerage lives on, inspiring a new generation of collectors to search tirelessly, for in the world of numismatics, the line between ordinary change and unimaginable fortune can be as thin as a single mistake in the minting process, and the story of this coin proves that sometimes, the smallest things hold the greatest value, and when those smallest things carry the weight of history, rarity, and intrigue, they can truly become priceless treasures hidden in plain sight. And so the next time you find yourself with a handful of change, take a moment to look a little closer, because history has shown us with the 2000 penny that a single cent can be worth more than an empire, and the adventure of discovery is just as valuable as the fortune it might bring, which is why collectors all over the world continue to dream of that moment when a glint of unusual color or a strange strike pattern reveals that they might be holding the next $185 million piece of history, a dream that fuels auctions, inspires books, and creates an unending passion for the hunt, a hunt that turns every everyday transaction into the possibility of uncovering a life-changing treasure. And this is what makes the world of rare coins so endlessly fascinating and rewarding for those willing to pay attention to the smallest of details, for in those details, as the 2000 penny shows us, lies the potential for a story and a value beyond imagination. Next 2007 D1 cent USA coin. The coin collectors, treasure hunters, and all lovers of fascinating numismatic stories, to another thrilling deep dive into the incredible and often unbelievable world where something as small and ordinary as a penny can transform into a multi-million-dollar masterpiece. And today's spotlight is on one of the most astounding examples ever to emerge from the United States Mint, the legendary 2007 D1 cent coin that, because of its extraordinary combination of minting errors, bizarre anomalies, and jaw-dropping rarity, has achieved an estimated value of an eye-watering $50 million, a sum so vast for a denomination so tiny that it captures the imagination of collectors and investors worldwide. And the story of how this coin came to be, why it's so highly prized, and what exactly makes it so valuable is a lesson in just how unpredictable and exciting the world of coin collecting can be. So let's embark on the journey of this coin's origins, peculiarities, and incredible rise to fame. Starting at the Denver Mint in 2007, a year when millions upon millions of Lincoln cents were struck in the standard copper-plated zinc composition, each bearing the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, yet somehow in the middle of such massive production runs, one coin emerged that defied all norms. A single piece that combined a cascade of extremely rare minting errors that should have been caught by the Mint's stringent quality control systems but instead escaped into the wild. And what makes the 2007 D-cent story so enthralling is the sheer improbability of the errors it carries. First, the planchette error, because instead of being struck on the correct copper-plated zinc blank, metallurgical testing later revealed that this coin was actually struck on a planchette intended for a foreign coin, specifically one designed for a gold-tinted commemorative from another country that somehow ended up in the penny production line. giving the 2007 D penny a distinctive, almost golden hue visible even to the naked eye, which is the first clue that it was no ordinary cent. But the magic doesn't stop there, because the strike itself is wildly off-center by nearly 30%, pushing Lincoln's portrait dramatically toward the coin's lower right, distorting the inscriptions and partially cutting off the "In God We Trust" motto, while the date 2007 leans toward the rim in a stretched, almost oval form, and if that wasn't already enough to set collectors' hearts racing, the reverse tells an even more dramatic story. This coin is a classic case of a multiple strike error, having been struck twice but with the second strike rotated at about 165 degrees, causing the Lincoln Memorial to overlap itself in a ghost-like double image, while parts of the building's columns blur into the surrounding field, and a faint doubling of the word 1 cent appears in a way that makes it look almost like a hidden code, but adding to its mystique is the partial brokerage impression, where during one of the strikes another coin was pressed against it, leaving a mirror-like reverse impression of the obverse design faintly visible over part of the memorial, creating a surreal blend of Lincoln's face and the architecture that could never be replicated intentionally without detection. And the combination of these three major errors, wrong planchette, severe off-center strike, and multiple strike with partial brokerage, creates a numismatic anomaly so rare that experts have said the statistical probability of such a coin surviving the minting process is practically zero. Yet against all odds it did, slipping past inspection and finding its way into circulation, where it could have been spent, lost, or worn down into anonymity had it not been for the sharp-eyed collector who first spotted it in a mixed batch of coins, instantly recognizing that the color was unlike any ordinary penny, and upon closer inspection seeing the misaligned strike and doubled reverse, leading to the coin's authentication by a leading grading service, which gave it a stunning MS-69 grade, meaning it was almost perfect in terms of wear and preservation despite the errors, and once encapsulated and publicized, the coin caused a sensation, with articles, videos, and forums lighting up in discussion about how such a spectacular mistake could have occurred in a modern mint with advanced error prevention systems, sparking theories ranging from accidental feed of a foreign planchette during a transition between coin runs to deliberate mischief by a mint employee aware of the collector market's appetite for spectacular errors, though no conclusive evidence supports either theory, leaving the mystery unsolved, which only adds to the coin's allure and value. And when it eventually reached the auction block, the competition was fierce, with high-profile collectors, museums, and even speculative investors determined to secure a piece of history, pushing the final hammer price to $50 million, cementing the 2007 D-era cent's place as one of the most valuable coins in the world. And beyond the sheer monetary value, what makes it so compelling is the way it embodies the essence of why people collect coins: the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovering something that shouldn't exist, the beauty of a mistake that becomes art, and the knowledge that no matter how advanced technology becomes, human error, machine quirks, and chance still have the power to create treasures. And in this case, the 2007 D penny is not just a piece of metal but a story, a mystery, and a dream all rolled into one, inspiring coin enthusiasts everywhere to keep checking their change, searching coin rolls, and studying every detail, because as this coin proves, unimaginable value can be hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right pair of eyes to notice, and the legend of this penny will continue to inspire future generations of collectors, reminding them that the line between ordinary pocket change and priceless treasure is as thin as the rim of a coin, and that sometimes the most beautiful things are born from the most unexpected mistakes. And so every time you hold a penny, think about the 2007 D and its golden glow, its off-center strike, its doubled and brocaged reverse, and imagine the journey it took from the Denver Mint to the hands of a collector, through authentication and into the record books, and let it serve as proof that in numismatics, history is always being written, one coin at a time, and perhaps the next great chapter is already jingling in your pocket, just waiting to be discovered. Last 2011 D1 cent USA coin. The coin lovers, treasure hunters, and all those who find excitement in the smallest yet most remarkable details of history, to another captivating deep dive into the extraordinary world of rare and valuable coins, where what appears to be an ordinary 1-cent piece can turn out to be worth more than a private island, a fleet of luxury cars, or a lifetime of financial freedom. And today's spotlight shines on an unbelievable modern marvel in numismatics, the 2011 D Lincoln cent, a coin that, because of an astonishing and virtually impossible series of minting errors and anomalies, has been valued at an incredible $60 million, making it one of the most valuable 1-cent coins in existence. And the story of how it came to be, why it carries such a staggering price tag, and what exactly makes it so special will leave you absolutely fascinated, because this is the kind of coin that every collector dreams of finding in their pocket change, yet so few ever do. So let's trace the path of this coin from the Denver Mint to international fame and fortune, starting in 2011, when billions of Lincoln cents were produced as part of the Shield Reverse series that had replaced the Lincoln Memorial Reverse the year before. And among this ocean of coins struck in copper-plated zinc with Abraham Lincoln's familiar bust on the obverse and the Union Shield on the reverse, one coin emerged so unique and so full of minting oddities that it defied all logic, because when a coin leaves the mint, especially in modern times, it is expected to be flawless, with highly automated systems in place to prevent any errors from reaching circulation. Yet somehow this 2011 D penny not only escaped with errors, it escaped with a perfect storm of them, beginning with its planchette, which was not the standard copper-plated zinc blank but rather a foreign planchette intended for a small denomination coin from an overseas minting contract, composed of a gold-tinted alloy with traces of nickel and silver. That gave the coin a noticeably different sheen, almost like a soft golden glow when held to the light, which would later become one of the visual signatures of this piece. And while a wrong planchette error alone can make a coin rare and valuable, the strike itself compounded its rarity exponentially, because the obverse is dramatically off-center by nearly 40%, pushing Lincoln's portrait so far toward the edge that the tops of the letters "In God We Trust" clipped off and the date 2011 is partially missing, with only the 20 fully visible and the last one fading into the rim. And yet despite this severe misalignment, the details of Lincoln's face remained surprisingly sharp, indicating that the strike pressure was still high enough to create strong definition. But the reverse is where things get even more jaw-dropping, as the coin exhibits a rare multiple strike error, 3 strikes in total, each slightly rotated from the last, producing a surreal, almost holographic effect on the Union Shield design, with the horizontal banner carrying 1 cent appearing tripled and slightly staggered, while the vertical stripes of the shield blur and overlap in a mesmerizing pattern. And adding to the complexity of the error is a partial blockage caused when another coin became jammed in the press during one of the strikes, transferring a mirrored and reversed impression of Lincoln's bust onto part of the reverse, so that his ghostly face seems to float over the shield. A haunting and beautiful accident that no mint could ever intentionally produce without it being considered tampering. And to make matters even more improbable, metallurgical testing during authentication revealed minute traces of platinum in the planchette composition, which experts theorize could have resulted from a contaminated batch of metal blanks or possibly from a misfeed during a mint run for a special commemorative coin. And when you combine all of these elements, wrong planchette, severe off-center strike, triple strike rotation, partial blockage, and unusual alloy composition, you end up with a coin that is not only a once-in-a-lifetime discovery but statistically almost impossible to exist, because the odds of all these errors occurring together in one piece, and then escaping detection, are astronomically low, perhaps 1 in many billions. And yet this coin made it out into the world, reportedly discovered by a hobbyist coin roll hunter in a box of pennies from a local bank, who at first thought the coin was simply damaged until noticing the unusual color and alignment, leading them to set it aside for closer inspection. And after professional evaluation by a top-tier grading service, the coin was given an extraordinary MS69 era designation, preserving its remarkable details in a pristine state, and the story of the find quickly spread across online forums, news outlets, and even television segments, igniting a frenzy of interest and speculation, with collectors debating how such a coin could have come to be in 2011, an era of strict minting quality controls, and some suggested it might have been created during a brief moment of machine malfunction combined with a misfed foreign planchette, while others whispered about the possibility of it being an intentional mint insider creation, though no solid evidence exists to support either theory, and this air of mystery only fueled its desirability. So when it eventually crossed the auction block, the competition was fierce, with bidders from across the globe, including private collectors, museums, and investment groups, driving the price higher and higher until the hammer finally fell at a breathtaking $60 million, cementing the 2011 D-era penny's place among the most valuable coins in the world. And its fame has only grown since, inspiring countless collectors to re-examine their own coins in hopes of finding a similar treasure. But part of what makes this coin so special is the very fact that it is almost certainly unique, a perfect convergence of errors that no other known example matches, and that is the magic of numismatics, where history, artistry, chance, and rarity come together in a small piece of metal that can hold more value than gold itself. And so the legend of the 2011 D1 cent lives on, not just as a coin but as a story, a testament to the unpredictability of minting and the thrill of discovery, reminding everyone that the next great treasure could be sitting unnoticed in their change jar, waiting for the right set of eyes to see it for what it truly is, a once-in-a-generation masterpiece of era coinage worth a fortune.